Welcome to Facing My Mistakes. My name is Yetunde. Today we're going to be speaking with an interesting person who had everything going for him until an unfortunate incident happened and it just threw him off balance and it disrupted everything about his life, disrupted his journey in life. He found himself even in prison, something that was purely not his fault. I have with me today Mr. Peter, who's going to be sharing his experience with us. You're welcome, Mr. Peter.
Thank you very much.
Okay, first of all, tell us about yourself. Who's Mr. Peter? Give us a little bit about your background.
Well, my name is Peter, and then I'm from a family of we are 6, 3 boys and 3 girls. Just like every other child, I went to primary school, I went to secondary school, and eventually I graduated from University of Lagos. And then I started work, and then I'm married with a child.
Okay, interesting. Of course, you graduated, you started work, and you've worked in a couple of organizations.
Yes.
And then, till you got to this, your last place of organization.
Exactly. I started work 2002. I worked in several organizations before eventually in 2012, precisely June 2012, my younger brother were dead, and after the wedding my parents they wedded here in Lagos, and then after leaving on June 13th, my younger brother wedded on 9th of June. And then on the 13th, they left for village. Then I started work on that June 13th. I resumed work on that June 13th, and then I went to the office. My chairman, the director of the company, he gave me a check of 2.5 million, and then some amount of money in dollars, about $600, to go and pay into an account of his son.
That's after resuming work?
Yes.
After your brother's wedding?
Yes. Okay. So I went and paid in the amount into the son's account, and then went straight to the bank to withdraw the money.
Okay, just hold it right there.
Okay.
We'll be going on a short break, and then when we come back, you will tell us what happened when you went to withdraw the money. We'll be right back. Welcome back. So, Mr. Peter, you said your boss gave you checks to go to the bank. Was it to go and lodge the check in or to withdraw?
Yeah, he gave me cash of $600.
Okay.
To go and deposit.
Okay.
And then he gave me a check for 2.5 million to go and withdraw.
Okay.
So eventually I went first of all to go and deposit the $600. And then went to the bank to withdraw the 2.5 million.
Okay, they were in 2 different banks.
Yes.
Okay. Were you the like the head of finance in your organization, the most trusted person? Because giving you $600,000.
No, $600.
Okay, $600.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was the head of accounts.
Okay.
And internal audit.
Oh, okay.
So when I went to the bank, I deposited the $600, and then from there I went straight to the other bank to withdraw this 2.5 million.
All right.
So when I got to the bank with the driver, that particular day, there was some delay because of a confirmation of the check. So when finally the check was confirmed, the normal process in the bank, I was paid the amount and I came out. The driver that took me to the bank was sleeping in the vehicle, so I woke him up. We left for office. By the time we got to the office, there was a delay in opening the gate because they were doing some supply to some customers in the compound.
Okay.
So we were at the gate for some time, and then after some time,
if delay, so if because of the supplies, you had trucks or vehicles blocking the gate and you guys couldn't go in?
No, the security man inside the compound joined them in doing the supply for the customers.
Oh, okay.
The security man was there, the chairman of the organization was there, and some other people that help in bringing out what the customer or the shop need.
Okay.
So eventually we were there for like 5-10 minutes before the gate was opened. So we went in. Immediately the vehicle parked. I came out of the vehicle. The chairman was by the other side of the driver. He was making a call. So I came out. I was going inside the office. Eventually I heard behind me, "Stop there. Give me that bag. Give me that money." I thought it was a joke. So I looked at him. He was having a small gun.
Wow.
I said, "What's this?" I was still standing there baffled. So
and the chairman was also outside there.
On the other side of the vehicle, the security, those ones, they were there. Probably they didn't know what was happening.
Okay.
Because this thing was happening on the other side of the vehicle that I came out from.
Okay.
So I was there. I was looking at him. I was still startled. So he was approaching, and eventually he came towards me, pointing the gun, and then he jacked the bag of money I was carrying from my hand. Then he said I should turn. Then I turned, and he said I should move. I was moving towards.
At this point, at this point, nobody noticed. Nobody, from all the people standing outside, nobody noticed what was happening.
Except the security man, because when he entered, from what the security man said,
yes,
immediately he entered, he pointed the gun at him.
Okay.
He said, "Take me to the man that just came back now."
Wow.
So both of them were coming. So immediately the armed robber saw me. He left the security man and then approached me immediately. So at this point in time, when he now said I should turn and move towards the opposite direction, I was going and he was following me. I was still hearing the footsteps. So when I noticed that I wasn't hearing the footsteps again, I now turned. It was at that point in time that the chairman said, "What is that?" Wow. I said, "An armed robber."
And the security man didn't alert anyone,
Well, I wouldn't know, because at this point in time I was in shock.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I was surprised at what was. I thought it was a dream. So it was at that point in time the chairman said, "What is that?" I said, "An armed robber." He now rushed towards where I was.
Yeah.
At this time, we were standing together for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes before he made an attempt to, get to the person. At this point in time, the man has left.
Wow.
The armed robber has left.
And he was alone, just
one person.
Wow.
So we tried to get at him. We passed through the other side of the compound, but the gate on that side was locked. So we came back, and that was the story. That was where the story started
from. Okay, just hold it right there. We'll go on another short break, and then when we come back, you will tell us from where the story started. We'll be right back. Welcome back, viewers. So back to you, Mr. Peter. So the armed robber came and he collected the bag of money from you, and yourself and your chairman thought you could chase him, but he was gone. So what happened after then?
Yes, after that day, there was a private interrogation in the company.
Okay.
The security man, the driver that took me to the bank, and myself.
Okay.
So from there, they were interrogated. Three of us, our phones were collected.
Okay.
To find out if there was any calls and all that.
Yeah.
Maybe messages. So that particular day, I was allowed to go home, but the security man and the driver, they were not allowed to go home. They were detained in the compound of the organization.
Oh, okay.
So
in the compound?
Yes.
Why not a police station or something?
Well, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know, because the police was called in, and then that was what happened. They took their decision.
Okay.
So from then, the next day I came back to work, and then the same thing happened. Now it was approaching weekend. One thing led to another, and then the owner of the organization called me. He said I must pay for the money.
Wow.
Because I was the person directly involved. I was the person that went to withdraw the money and all that. So he called me and said he's giving me 5 days to go and look for the money and pay into his
5
account.
days.
5 days. So at that point in time, I went home. I didn't come back to work, just like he said he's giving me 5 days. I should not come to work
until you get the 2.5.
until I get the 2.5 million and then pay it into the account. And then that was it. So after 5 days, that was on Monday, 25th of June 2012. I went back to the office. So when I knocked at the gate and the security man opened the pigeonhole on the gate and saw that I was the one, he went back to the owner of the organization and then told him I was the one. He said he should allow me. I went in. As I was going inside the compound, he himself came out from his office. He directed me to go and sit in the garage where he normally parks his car.
Okay.
I sat down there. So one of the branches, the lady that was managing the branch came. In fact, they were already in the office. So he came in and said I should go.
The branch of your organization or the branch of the bank?
The branch of the organization.
Okay.
So he said I should go in and reconcile the account of that lady.
Okay.
So I went in, reconciled the account, and then after the reconciliation, he came out and asked the woman if everything is okay. She said yes. He said okay. I said I should go and sit in the garage. I was sitting down there. After some time, like 20-30 minutes, I saw 2 men walk into the compound.
Okay.
They went straight to his office. And then after some time, maybe they held a meeting or something. They came out. He said, Mr. Peter, follow them. And then I followed them. We got to the gate. The way they behaved, he just brought out a handcuff.
Wow.
And put it on my hand. We went inside the vehicle.
Oh.
So I now asked one of them, can I make a call to my family? He said no. So we went inside, we just drove to the police headquarters in Ikeja. So we got there, I came out, all of us came out, and then we went upstairs. So my wife and I usually talk like 2-3 times in a day when I'm at work. That particular day, she looked for me, she waited, no calls, just silence. And then she decided to check. How she got to know where I was, only God knows. So eventually, she got to that place, to the police station at Ikeja. Yeah. So by the time she got there, from what she told me, she said she wanted to see me, but they told her that she cannot see me that particular day.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, probably she went home, and then the next day she came. But that particular day that she came, that 25th was very tough for me.
Okay, how?
25th of June 2012 is a day, if it is possible in eternity, I will still remember. That day I was taken to a place that I have not been before. They call it theater.
Theater?
Yes.
Theater. What do they do?
Fine. The theater there is a place of torment.
Torment?
It's a horrible place. Even one of them told me that he wouldn't desire that his enemy should be there.
Wow. And yet they took you there.
They took me there. I went to hell and came back.
Wow.
So they tortured me. They tied me hands and legs. They suspended me in the air.
Wow.
I was shouting and I was crying and a lot of things. It was from there that they were beating me front, back, side, just like that.
Just so that they can get the truth supposedly out of you.
Yes. At a point, when they did not get anything.
Sorry, do you know whether people die in the process? Did they tell you at any point in time that we tortured someone and the victim died or something? Do you know if that happened?
When I got in there, the policeman that arrested me, he said, "Do you see this blood on the ground? Do you see these spots of blood on the ground?" He said, "They are not the blood of animals. They are blood of human beings.
Wow.
So you better tell me the truth." But by the time I got into that theater, somebody was already, was on hanging.
What do you mean by hanging?
Fine.
What does that mean?
They usually tie people 2 legs together, 2 hands together, and then both of them will be tied together, the hands and the legs.
The hands and the legs.
Then they will suspend you in the air.
Wow.
By the time they did that. So, they did that to me. And all the shouting, all the crying, all the beating and everything. By the grace of God, I did not die. Because that was meant to either maybe get the truth or for me to die.
Yeah,
like
that's why I asked. I mean, I'm sure a few people must have died in the process.
Yes. So at the end of the day, it was now late in the evening.
Okay.
This was around 7:30 in the evening, the night.
Yeah.
So they now took me to the cell. By the grace of God, the next day, my wife came with my cousin, and then they went upstairs. Eventually, my lawyer came, my brother lawyer came, and then what was meant to be my end, probably because my lawyer came, and then they said maybe they charged the case to court.
Okay.
And that was it. After 2 weeks in that torture, because my 2 hands from here to here was paralyzed.
Wow.
For like
Were they taking you back to the theater over and over again, or it was that
particular incident paralyzed my hands and my legs.
Wow.
It was done 2 times.
Wow.
25th and 26th. It was done. So when that yielded per se no result, and because my lawyer has come, at the end of the day they charged the case to court. I was there for like 2 weeks, but for that 2 weeks I was afraid to eat. You know why? My 2 hands were paralyzed, and if I go to the toilet, somebody has to wash me, clean me. So I take time to eat. I don't eat anyhow. Even when at the end of the day they took me to prison, because after that they took me to court, like after 2 weeks they took me to court, and the magistrate said, DPP advice and all that, said remand him in prison for 30 days and we wait for DPP advice.